Yo, so I gotta pull over and make this video for you. I just did a quote. It was $5,200 for property maintenance, which is trimming shrubs, ornamental trees, huge arborvitaes, and a very nice house, whole property. And when I walked away from the quote, I actually called the customer back, and I don't normally do this, and I said, I just wanted to reassure you that the reason the quote is what it is because it's a lot of work. And I've been doing this a long time, and I know exactly what it takes, because like $5,300 to trim up bushes, the customer might think that like you're trying to rip them off or something. And here's what I want to warn you. I've been doing this a long time. I don't know how many more jobs you have to do where you don't make the money that you need to make to where you feel happy. When you are up on a ladder trimming shrubs, or you're underneath or you're working, or you've got a crew out working, right? And they're not making the man-hour rate that they need to make, and your risk is on the line, and you have insurance and taxes and all that. And let's just say you planned a job with your fingers crossed, which you should not do, that you're gonna get it done, in 1 whole day or 2 days. If anything happens and it pushes you into the next day, or you have a breakdown, and now you're doing that entire job, making just enough money to cover your expenses and not even make any profit for yourself, and you still have to endure all of that stress and that emotional stress that you internalize in your body that leaks out into the rest of your life. How many times do you have to go through that type of stress before you finally learn your lesson that a job that you're not making the good money that you need to make so you feel happy is not even worth doing at all? It's just not worth it at all. For me, I had to learn that lesson far too many times until the lesson was learned, correct? We're here. What's going on? Oh, okay. So many times I've been on a job, or I've had my guys working on a job, and I just have to eat it and realize that, oh, I thought I was going to make $400, $500, $600, $700 off this, or $4, $5, $6 grand, depending on the size of the job. We do jobs anywhere from $700 to $20,000, right? And when you finally learn your lesson and you draw your lines in the sand and you know your numbers and you know what you need to charge and you know how long things actually take, and then you start charging accordingly so you cover your assets, this feeling comes over that you realize that you're pricing in the top 10% of the market. And then it dawns on you, oh my God, most of your competition is making all of these same mistakes as well, except for the companies that have really, really refined their processes and they know what to do. I've quoted against so many other landscapers that have undercharged what I was charging, and I've lost the work to them. And I go away scratching my head saying, how in the hell are these other landscapers doing this so much cheaper? How are they doing this? How are they so much faster and more efficient? What do they have that I don't? So then it drives me to go online and look at these $80,000 spider lifts. Oh, if we had the spider lift, I'm like, well, we don't do enough jobs like that. I can't justify some payment if we're not constantly doing that. And then I would have to train, like, because we trim a lot of tall shrubs, right? And so it sends you down these different paths, and then it occurs to you, what if they're making the same mistakes and they're undercharging because they're just undercharging and they're not making the profits they need to make? So sticking to your guns and drawing your line in the sand and making sure you're doing the proper marketing and advertising so you can afford to say no and not do stupid stuff is very important. So anyways, that was just kind of a thing. I'm going to the next quote right now. It's Keith Kalfas here. I'm out doing Monday quotes, meeting with customers and clients. And my whole attitude when I walk onto a customer's property is I'm very kind and humble and respectful. And I really want to be presentable and give as much advice as possible. But also, like, I've got my arm out. I've got everything at an arm's length, and I'm thoroughly qualifying everything before it gets on my calendar. Because doing something that you hate doing, or that it's not profitable, it's just not worth it. It's not fun. I think that the business eventually should become ELF. Easy, lucrative, and fun. So ask yourself, because your emotions tell you They say you shouldn't be so emotional, but it tells you if something doesn't feel right, it's probably not right. So your job is to go and identify what part of it doesn't feel right. Okay, do I need to charge a little bit more for this? Or should I just get rid of that thing altogether? So every rose has its thorn. You ever heard that song? Most of these jobs that you do, especially in the multi-$1,000 range, there's always one part of that job